Hello guys, Greg back with another video on the channel. It is all killer, no filler. So today I'm going to talk about some really good fragrances from the motoring brand Mercedes-Benz. Generally car brands and other brands that sort of delve into fragrances don't typically make particularly good ones, but Mercedes have actually made a real effort. They've worked with some very good perfumers and they've had some very good fragrances made for the brand. The only criticism from my side for their offerings is some of the fragrances do seem to take a lot of inspiration from existing fragrances from other brands. Not clones, but definitely inspired by. But we'll talk a bit more about that as we go through. I've got quite a lot of fragrances from Mercedes-Benz. I'm at my office today and I've just grabbed 8. I've actually opened up some new ones just so that I can, some backup bottles that I can show them on the video today. There's a whole new range of Mercedes-Benz fragrances that I haven't tried. These ones are all a few years old, but most of them are quite readily available. I'll talk about which ones are harder to find. I'll talk about where to get them and pricing and stuff as we go through. But yeah, if we dive into the first one that I've got, this is probably one of the best known ones. This is Mercedes-Benz Cologne, and this resembles quite strongly a Dior fragrance, Dior Homme Cologne. And although that I'm a big Dior fan, I think this one's equally as good, and it's a lot cheaper as well. This one was made by perfumer Olivier Cresp, as a lot of these were, as most of you guys will know, he's a master perfumer. But this one is a citrus-dominant fragrance that's mixed with ginger, vetiver, musk as well in there. But that sort of dominant citrus that you get is there's grapefruit, there's lemon verbena, there's mandarin, and there's orange, and they're all sort of mixed together, and they give a very zingy freshness to it. It's a great summer fragrance, actually. Very good performance for a citrus dominant fragrance. But this is one of the ones that's discontinued. But at the time of filming the video, when I looked, there was a few on eBay and they were around about £60 for 100ml in the UK. So that's the first one, Mercedes-Benz Cologne. So next up we have Mercedes-Benz Select Night. Again, this one was created by Olivier Cresp, and it's another one that's said to resemble another fragrance, and this one's supposed to be similar to Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. For me, I only get a slight similarity with that fragrance. This one's very unisex to me. It's marketed for men, but right from the start, I get a lot of white florals in here, and to my nose, that's the most prominent feature of the fragrance. There's also a lot of vanilla in here, and there's lavender and cardamom, which are detectable throughout, but they're not as strong as the vanilla and the florals. There's also patchouli and sandalwood in the base. It's a very warm, sort of creamy, luxurious fragrance. Definitely worth a try. And this one's about £50 for 100ml on Latino in the UK at the moment. So that one's Select Night. Next one, this is probably one of the most talked about one. I find this very interesting. There was a little bit of hype around this when it was released. This is Mercedes-Benz Le Parfum. But a lot, as I said, there was a bit of hype about this. A lot of people spoke about it. But I get very different sort of prominent accords to what I've heard about this. I mean, firstly, this is supposed to be an oud-based fragrance, but I actually don't get any oud from this at all. The backbone of this for me is leather, saffron and violet leaf. But it's also very aquatic to my nose, which is kind of a little bit of a contradiction to the much sort of deeper notes that are in this, and the core of this is kind of deep. But there's lots of development in here, and at different stages it's got quite a similarity to 2 other fragrances, but those 2 fragrances don't smell anything like each other. So from the first spray you get a blast of violet leaf, and to me it makes me think of Dior Fahrenheit or even Aqua Fahrenheit. And that violet leaf's joined with bergamot and then kind of an aquatic chord, like a fruity aquatic. And that stays around throughout the whole of this fragrance to my nose. I get a little bit of a spicy rose accord. There's some earthiness in here, but predominantly, leather, violet leaf. There's some vetiver and patchouli, but as well as that aquatic sort of fruitiness that runs through it. I've heard people say this smells like Tom Ford Tuscan leather. To me, that's only a slight similarity, and it's only right in the base of this fragrance. It doesn't smell identical at all, but this is a very classy, luxurious smelling type of fragrance. Much better than you'd expect from a car brand. And this one's still in production actually, and it's only £50 for 120ml on Latino at the moment. Next one, this was a little bit harder to find and cost me a little bit more. I paid £75 on eBay for this one. And this is Mercedes-Benz Club Extreme. Now this one, the initial similarity on this one is to the Mugler Amen series of fragrances. A little bit like Amen, a little bit like Pure Malt. Starts out with like a fruity fizziness. It develops into a woody leather with amber. The most prominent note in here is patchouli. And like I said, it resembles the Mugler Amens, but it doesn't have that gourmand feeling. It doesn't have like the coffee and the caramel and the vanilla. But there is a little bit of a dark chocolate accord in here. Now, it's less abrasive than Amen, which does have some sort of sharp edges. This one's a bit smoother. But it's a very good fragrance and definitely worth trying if you can find a bottle. Now, which one should we pick? Let's do this one. We've got... This one is called Infinite Spicy. Probably my favourite, actually, from the brand. All of these have got really good presentation, as you can see, really high quality bottles. But another one by Olivier Cresp, this one. And I love spicy, peppery fragrances, and this one's got a dominant pepper. It's got coriander in here, lots of light types of woods like teak and cedar. There's incense, amber and musk. But if you like fragrances like Marc Jacobs Bang or Comme des Garçons Wonderwood, they've got a strong pepperiness to them. I think you'd like this one. This one is discontinued, but there's quite a lot of bottles on eBay in the UK at around £50 for 100 ml. Next one. One of my... Well, actually, this is not one of my personal favourites, but what I will say is I think it's probably the best in terms of its, the way it was constructed and the blend and everything. And this one is called Mercedes-Benz Club Black. Now, this one's definitely unisex to me. It's a smoky vanilla amber. It's got caramel, woods, spice. Very warm, cosy, sort of comforting type of fragrance. I could imagine wearing this like sitting by a fireplace with in the autumn with a jumper on, sipping a nice drink, that sort of feel, It's got a similarity to another fragrance that I own, which is Perry Ellis Oud Black Vanilla, kind of similar to that one. And this one's a little bit more expensive than the other fragrances in this video. It's currently £72, this one, for a 100 ml bottle. That's on Latino. But it's definitely worth that. It's a high quality fragrance. You'd pay 2 or 3 times that from another brand for a fragrance of that type. Next one, this is actually the OG, the original one, and it's just called Mercedes-Benz. Actually, one of my favourites, this one. It's like one of the cleaner ones from the house. And like Le Parfum that we spoke about before, this has got that slight Dior Fahrenheit resemblance. It's got lots of citrus in here, lots of violet leaf. It's woody and aromatic. It's quite a youthful fragrance. I get quite a lot of aquatic notes that kind of resemble Paco Rabanne Invictus and Rassasi Hawass. But great summer fragrance. As I said, one of my favourites. And this one is only £37 for 120 ml on Latino at the moment. So that is Mercedes-Benz. And the final one on today's video, this one is Mercedes-Benz Man Private. Another superb presentation. They're all great and nice, really nice coloured juice as well. But this is another one that's very high quality. It's a very deep Middle Eastern type feeling fragrance. And I'd say along with Club Black, this is the best crafted fragrance from the brand. Starts out with like a bitter herb. It's got some dry earthy pine in here, some spicy resins. And when it develops, you get some lavender in the heart. Well, actually, I get lots of things from this fragrance. It develops a lot. I get tobacco leaf. I get some booziness. There's amber. There's patchouli. I get lots of woods. But this one actually reminds me a lot of Halfeti from Penhaligon's. But the good part is, this one's only £31 for 100 ml on the Tino at the moment. So it's like less than a sixth of the price of Halfeti. And whilst it's not identical, honestly, I think it's equally as good. Definitely recommend trying this one. It's worth a punt at 30 quid. So that's Mercedes-Benz Man Private. So there you go. That's the end of the video, guys. That's 8 really, really good and mostly cheap fragrances from Mercedes-Benz. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if there's any that, you know, you've tried from this brand that I haven't, or, you know, if you've tried these, what you think of them. You know, give a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. If you're not subscribed, please do. And I'll be back very soon with some more fragrance and watch videos. Cheers, guys.